Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're going to look at Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, the FANG, the infamous FANG. So let's get right into the daily, weekly, monthly time frames, and we use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So right now in Facebook, I don't know if they got news or an upgrade or something. I didn't quite look yet, but all I know is we're back up into this 126.80 area. We did have a pretty good bearish pattern here that we're keeping an eye on. As long as it stayed below the 20 MA, we were good. It popped up above. Now we're back above the 20 MA and confirmed. But I'm thinking here we have some pretty good resistance. If it doesn't stop here, we're going back in the double top. And then possibly you got a trend line up in this area, and then 134.88 for another Fibonacci up in here. And the trend line's around 133. If you want to short this, if you're not short already, you can wait for double top, or you can add half here, maybe a quarter here, add the last half here. If it gets above 135 with confirmation, you just stop out. Make it simple, no pain, strict money management, and you'll be okay in this one. Let's look at the weekly. The weekly is still setting up in a, it's still bullish. You know, I don't mind this pattern. We did break out today. This is a weekly. I want to see it close above this pivot on the weekly. Then I'll think we could go, or I'm thinking that we'll go back up to double top, which is 128.33. If we get above there, we're looking for a confirmation over 130 or so. And then let's get some follow through. Let's see, where was the volume today? Volume wasn't bad. It picked up yesterday, but there, you know, maybe a little short squeeze today. Like I said, I don't know if there was any news. Monthly chart. Monthly is a little bit stretched. It does need to come back, but it still can move up a little bit higher. I wouldn't rule that out. It is Facebook. Everybody gets behind it, and they all get bullish. But again, if this doesn't stay up here and we get a nice reversal and it comes back down, I think we're going to see lower prices. But at this point, we're in the 750 retrace up in this area. Let's see if we can get through that first. Let's go to Amazon. Amazon, I don't know. I think they're selling cars now or something like that. I don't even know at this point. It's just more crap they're serving out to try to get this thing up. It's unreal. All right, let's put this back in the box. All right, let's go on the all-time high, which is right here. We made a new all-time intraday high, but it did not stay above it. Still in a strong stance above the moving averages. You know what, we talked about this one maybe a week ago, and it was below the MAs. That's what we were watching for, but we recaptured, so here we are again. Until it gets above these all-time highs and confirms 773.67, I want to see more volume. I want to see this thing pushing up on 3, 4, 5 million, not 2.1 million. It's just not enough for me. We did capture the 20 MA, so it is slightly in a bullish stance now, but you know, if it can't move up on this, I mean, it had okay volume, but if it can't pierce it and continue and close above it, I don't know. I mean, we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow will give us another piece of the puzzle. Let's see, does this line mean anything? No, not really. You know what? Let's just take. Let's just clear it off. That's a disaster. So, all right, let's look at this one here. If we have a fib, let's go up on there. This is a weekly chart, so we're going to have to wait until Friday on the close. I'm going to put this one there. So, on a weekly basis, you know, we're just kind of floating above these moving averages. This one's kind of chasing it. We're going to see how price reacts into the 20 MA if this thing curls up, or does this thing reverse on a weekly candle and close? We'd look for a close below this area here, which is, if you're bearish, you're looking for a close below, say, 752.90 or so, 752, 753 area. If you're bullish, you want to see a close above the 774.98 with confirmation, then we're going up. But again, you know, we're weeks up here consolidating. Come on, Amazon, let's go. Let's get the show on the road and continue up if you're that strong of a stock. But the 775 number on the chart's huge, huge technical number, 775. And then 800, 825, numbers like that. It's all quarter numbers. It barely missed it by 2 pennies, and then it pulled back pretty nice to 71.29. So that was a little bit weak. There was a lot of sellers up in that area saying, hey, you know what? I'm taking my money and I'm done. So technically you had some sellers up there at the even number of 775. They took their money and said, thank you very much, because sometime that could be a pivot. On the monthly chart, you know, this is another stretch play, just like this. See how it went up, 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 came back, never touched the 20, But here we go again, up, 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 and we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months up with the month ending this week. That could be bad news for this stock. We had an extended move around 766 or so. It got a little bit higher, but we're up at the 800 level looking at that. That was my max extension, 766. So far, holding pretty good, and that's when it was down in here and it was getting stretched. I wanted to measure it, see what one of my tools of the trade to see how high this thing could possibly go. Did get about 10 bucks above it, but hey, not bad when this thing was back at 500, 550, now saying 766. So it was a good area of resistance. Again, big resistance up in here on the charts. That's the monthly. It needs to come back down. The SPY sells, it's definitely coming down. Let's go to Netflix, NFLX. This one, we talked about it. Great bearish pattern. It's trying to get above this inside bar. Look at that. We talked about this. It came up, rejected it. It looks like it closed right on top of it on this day. Tried it again today. Couldn't get above it. Until it's above this inside bar, I don't think Netflix is going up. And I don't know, I don't know what was on CNBC, or either downgrade, or they said this thing's going down like 15% from here, or I don't know who it was, but until we get above this inside bar, we still have a ton of resistance up in here. So if it gets to 100, 101, if you're long, get out of this thing. Unless there's some news that pushes this up, kind of like Amazon, kind of like any of these stocks, where it will push it up through the areas of resistance and continue going. But if this thing can't get above this inside bar, right around the 97.65 area, it's not going anywhere. So until then, I mean, look at this. Goes up, reject it. Goes up. This looks like it closed right on top. Tries it again. No chance. Inside bar bearish pattern. If you're bearish, looking for a close below the 20, the 50, and I think we're onto this gap window, or gap window, then gap fill, then the trend line down in here around 86. And ultimately, I think we're going to double bottom around 85.44. If we go up, needs to get above this area first, 101, 102 area. And then we'll reevaluate. But you're looking at 104.2, huge area. Weekly chart. Nice bull flag on here, but inside bar here. Inside bar, not the best bearish pattern, but still an inside bar with massive volume. So the people who were stuck up in here when they bought it thinking it was going up, it actually flushed on them. So when it's coming back, all these sellers in here, they're like, you know what, just give me my money, I'm done. We have a little bit of a topping tail here. It's not the best, it's not at the top, but it's a little tail. You got to keep an eye on that. Still a bullish pattern above the MA, but we're below here. So MA stance, neutral, but I would say this is a little more slightly on the bull side, but we're still on this inside bar bearish side. So it's macro bear, micro bull. But again, just it's a 50-50 shot. Monthly though tells a different story. This is a great inside bar bearish pattern. This is setting up for a lot lower prices. I'm talking right here. 61 bucks, and if that fails, we're going right to 45 bucks. And if the SPY, Qs, IWM, everything else starts selling, we will see 50 bucks on this stock, I guarantee it. So let's go to Google. Google had a pretty good day. We were up 260 on this one, but again, we gapped up on earnings, never could make it, went to the all-time high, back in there, never confirmed above it, started breaking down, and here we are below the MA. We're starting to do a bearish consolidation. So if this pivot right there breaks 785.18, we're definitely going down to gap fill at 765.75. But until then, we're waiting for pattern. If this sets up in a bearish manner and this starts curling down, we will set out a short trade on this one. Even if it retraces back up into this 800 area or so, I would definitely short it. Just use the high pivot here, 813.89 with confirmation. Use that as a stop out. Strict money management in markets like this, because this could go up or down, no problem. If you're long, I would definitely take some off around the 813 and then start protecting it. If you're short, let this thing fill the gap. I think we could get back into these moving averages down in here. And ultimately, if the markets start to dump, I'm more bearish on the markets, guys. Sorry. And then if this thing starts to dump, 382, that's a good area, 760. Ultimately, 726, and possibly 708 in this area. Then you have some gaps to fill around 682 down in there. but that's if this thing sets up in a nice bearish manner and starts to collapse. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly, same thing. What happened here, we went straight up, we had a doji, we pulled back, now we're going in an inside bar bearish pattern. We're still slightly bullish on here, but this two little down weeks, now we're starting to set up. This thing sets up another couple weeks sideways, we're going right down to 743, right into this area, and then we'll reevaluate as it's coming in. 726, 708, and actually 7773. But again, still strong, still above the moving averages, a little bit stretched. That's okay, but it's still eventually going to have to come back down to the 20 MA. This one here, monthly, not too bad stretch, but right back into this big high pivot. There's a lot of resistance up in this area. So you have to be aware of that, because if that's not going through, I can't get that line out of there, but if that doesn't go through this level and this closes down in here, we're going to watch for a pullback, and then we'll have an inside bar bullish pattern. If it closes below this big green candle around 700 bucks, Google's going to be in trouble. 20 MA will curl up, so that could save it too. But if it starts fast tracking, ultimately, if the markets really start dumping, Google could be a $550, $560 stock right to this breakdown bar. There's going to be a huge resistance or support down in here. Sorry about that. Support, not resistance. So you got to keep an eye on these. It is the FANG, so it's a little more famous. But that's what I'm seeing here. So we got some case scenarios for going up and the other scenario for going down. Again, everyone, thanks for watching my videos. John at StockBookie.com. God bless. See you on the charts.